Hi, my name is Kaylin Saunier, and I will be going over my secondary assessment module. So, the student I decided to work with for my secondary target student, is a 10th grader who is 17 years old. She just turned 17. She's in a self-contained setting and has a diagnosis of Down syndrome. My student was last reevaluated in September of 2017. On her eval, I'm going over the evaluation results. So, evaluation showed a weakness in math. She had a little bit of weakness in reading too. However, I'm focusing on the weakness in math because according to her mother and her, math is not her strong suit. So, the first assessment I was given to was an intellectual assessment, and it was WISC apostrophe IV. This is the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children. So basically what this is, it's an intelligence test that's given to children ages 6 to 16. So it's to see what level is she functioning at intellectually. So what was weird was her reevaluation report did not show the standard score. It just showed the standard deviation, which was a negative 3.3 from the mean. So basically, like when you take the mean, she scored negative 3.3 below that. So her IQ functioning range is moderate. So when you think of moderate, you think of like mild, which is like they have trouble retaining information. Moderate, they really have trouble retaining information. And then severe, that's when you have the student who's having trouble functioning in class and actually answering questions, and mostly nonverbal, like a little more nonverbal. So the student is moderate. For academic achievement, so what the reevaluation team looked at is they looked at the LEAP scores. Louisiana would take LEAP, so Louisiana Connect, which is an accommodated state test for our students. Now her scores for math and ELA were looked at. ELA, she scored at 843. ELA is English Language Arts, and that is her strong suit. She scored 840 in math, a little bit less. She was also given a reading assessment using Success Maker. Success Maker is a program on the computer that is designed to work on the students' independent levels. So the students are working on skills that they need to practice. So basically it assesses them and puts them at a level. Her reading level is a 3.4. This means she is reading at a 3rd grade level for fourth month. So basically the 4th month, 3rd grade. That is her independent level. This is where she's comfortable at. She can read and she can comprehend at this level. That doesn't mean that's the highest level she can read. It just means that that's where she's comfortable at. So out of the 50 questions, she answered 25 of them. I feel as if that 50 questions might have been too much for her. I think if they would have gave her just 25, she probably would have done a lot better. So she was not evaluated for social emotional because the evaluation team stated in the evaluation report that according to the reevaluation report, the student does not currently have a behavior plan in place. So because she didn't have a behavior plan, they said there were no issues socially and emotionally or behavior problems. For speech therapy, it was an informal assessment that was given by the speech therapist. The student was rated unremarkable for fluency, articulation, and areas of the voice. So then adaptive behavior. This is the students, like the life skills. This is life skills and a little bit of social skills. So the assessment that was used was the Vineland 2, which what happens is like the parent is interviewed and the child is interviewed, and they look at both scores. So when the parent was interviewed, she had a standard score of 67, which put my student in the low to mild range. When the student was interviewed, her score was a little bit lower and was a 55, which puts the student in the low to moderate range. I agree with both these results because when the student answers the questions, you're getting the student's point of view. When the parent answers the questions, you're getting the parent's point of view. Therefore, I think both are pretty accurate. It depends on which way you look. However, I feel like I'm going more towards the students because it also puts her in the low to moderate, and intellectually she was also rated moderate. Observations and interviews were also used during her evaluation. So for the observation, the observer was in her classroom with her. It was just a normal classroom observation. It started off that she was very focused, and towards the end of the observation, it was noted that she was getting kind of frustrated with the work. There was a aide sitting with her. It doesn't mention that the aide was working with her, but that with the aide sitting with her, she was still having trouble actually doing the classwork. They said she displayed difficulty in following directions, but she was not a distraction to any other students or herself. She was just a little distracted. When it was time to transition to the other subject, that's when she became off task and started crying. It didn't say what subject they transitioned to, but after talking with the student and the mom, I'm thinking they were transitioning to math. They interviewed both the mom, the teacher, and the student, and all three kind of had a little bit in common. All three mentioned that a weakness in math. They also mentioned that the student loves school, and that she got along pretty well with everyone. So my strengths I'm giving her are reading, English language arts, her attitude towards school, behavior and social emotional skills, and adaptive behavior. Her weakness is going to be math, and math is where I'm focusing on my informal assessment.